something else came up this weekend, and you know my man in New York that is now the Democratic Zoran. I want to make
Mhm.
sure I pronounce his last name correct. Mamdani,
Mamdani,
Zoran
yep.
Mamdani. Man, I am looking back at all the things that he did running.
Hmm.
You know how we talk about all the time how the Dems need to be able to talk to the average man, get across. They need to be everywhere. If you look at the way this guy ran his campaign and what
Hmm.
he ran it on, he believed in it, but he was speaking directly with the people. He has this one particular video that I saw. I first saw it on Midas Network, then I saw it on Roland Martin. And he's talking about the hollers, the price of the hollers with the street vendors, with the food trucks in New York.
New York is suffering from a crisis, and it's called halalflation. Today, we're going to get to the bottom of this. How much does a plate of halal cost right now from this truck?
$10.
$10.
chicken over rice, lamb over rice, $10.
$10?
Yeah.
When you're a street vendor, you have to pay for the food, the plates. How much do you have to pay for your permit?
Before it was 22K.
20.
17,000.
And how much does a license cost if you get it from the city?
I think 400.
And who are you paying?
The permit owner.
You're not paying the city.
No.
You pay the permit owner $22,000 just so you can sell this food.
Yes.
And who is this?
A random guy.
Have you ever applied for a permit?
Yeah, I'm applied and no come anything.
It's long wait. Number 3,800 something. And
After 2 years, you're number 3,800.
yes.
These are the 4 bills that are sitting in the city council right now, which would give these vendors their own permits and make your halal more affordable. But Eric Adams hasn't said a single word about them. If you own the permit, then how much would you charge for the plate?
$7.
$8.
$8.
Would you rather pay $10 for a plate of halal or $8?
$8.
I think $8 is the way to go.
If I was the mayor, I'd be working with city council from day one to make halal $8 again.
Oh, how does it taste?
Tastes like $10, but it should be 8.
Right, I saw that.
You know, the price is $10. They could probably get it down to 7 to 8 if they were able to get their licensing direct. And that was the thing that he was getting across, showing how there's 3 bills that are sitting there that if you get past, these people can get their license more directly and they can cut their costs, and that saves other people money. It was the way you needed to talk to people.
Absolutely.
And not only that, he's proposing legislation that people want. One of these things, okay. Now one of the big ones is about the housing in New York. And if you see how Fox tries to twist everything in terms of what he's doing, the $30 minimum wage. I mean, it's in New York City. $30 minimum wage, that can at least get you so you don't have to, you can at least get lunch once a week. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, that's something that should be able to work. But he had this one that Fox is really trying to twist. And that's the thing about social workers in the police department. They're trying to say that he's trying to defund the police and he's trying to replace police officers with social workers. No, my mother-in-law, rest in peace. She was a social worker that worked with the police department. They sent her in on those domestic situations. Social workers know how to deal with situations in a manner so that you don't have a police officer being afraid or being scared and making the situation worse. Something that they need in New York City. Instead of cops, abusing their power or somebody doing something out of hand. But they keep twisting it on Fox that something that is needed, and this brother's presenting. They're trying to say you notice the last week the new word is calling everybody a Marxist. That's right. Their big thing the past week. But what this guy is doing and what he ran on and what he pushed, and he even explained how these things can be done. Even with he wants to take the food banks and turn those into community grocery stores by the government. All of this
great ideas.
All that stuff's profitable, man. But Why can't the Dems look at what he did and just use that blueprint because it worked?
Well, I think they are in a lot of ways. I hope they do. Well, some of them have said they are. I think one of the things that the biggest takeaways that they can take from his campaign, because not all of it. I don't think you can take New York politics and apply it nationwide. But one of the things that they can do is he offered solutions to problems. Like step by step solutions, telling you this is how I'm not only am I going to make this happen, but this is how
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
And that's something that you don't hear a lot nowadays. Mostly it's just, we're going to do this. We're going to make sure you have more money in your bank account, but they don't tell you how they're going to do it.
Right.
And he's telling them how you do it. So I think he ran a very, really good campaign. I saw part of his, interview on Meet the Press.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a fan of Kristen Welker at all.
That's another, I can't stand
but let me tell you what I found so interesting, and I'm not going to go all off because I want to stay on this topic with the candidate. But she doesn't ask enough follow-up questions usually, in my assessment. She asked him, there's a phrase, globalize the Intifada, which is, I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what that means literally. However, it's a term that people who are sympathetic to the situation in Gaza and in the Middle East. So it's been called an anti-Semitic phrase, and maybe it is. It probably is. Okay, let me say that. But she asked him. Well, he was asked apparently at some press conference to condemn the phrase, and he said he didn't do it. And she's like, "Why won't you condemn that phrase since it's so, people see it as anti-Semitic?" He said,
"That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that, to have meaning, have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike."
And he gave a very good answer. He said, "It's not language I use. I wouldn't use that language." But
to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president, who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my action.
I don't want to get in the habit of trying to snuff out free speech or tell people what they can and cannot say. Or I condemn this speech. He said, that's what the guy in Washington, that's what Trump does. He's like, I'm not taking that off the table. I'm saying I don't agree with it, and I don't use it.
Right.
And I'll tell you what. And then he went on to say what his some of his solutions, for mending that problem over in the Middle East were. She asked him that question different ways 4 times.
Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the Intifada? Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the Intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews? Well, quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it? But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question and the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have.
And
trying to get a soundbite.
Pretty much like, why won't you condemn this? Why won't you? And I'm just like, it was like she was trying to find, after he had just given this great interview and had answers to all our questions, she's like, oh, let me find something to throw mud at you for.
Right.
And I'm not saying the question was worth asking as a journalist. She wasn't on the record asking it, but she didn't want to accept his answer. And his answer wasn't like, I'm just not going to condemn it, and I'm not going to condemn anything that's free speech. That's not what I do.
And that's why I despise her.
Exactly.
That right there is why I despise her. Because even after the second time, let it go.
Right.
After the second, just let it go.
I've watched her interview Trump and other MAGA types, and the most she'll ask is twice. ever. And usually they're like really soft kid glove questions at that.
Right.
And I was like, dude, why are you nailing them to the wall on this? when these other people, you let it scrape. It was just an observation.
Right,
But I liked the way he handled it. He was, very. He's an excellent speaker. He appears to be an excellent politician in the best sense.
Yeah, and I like the way that he interacts with people, and I just want the Dems to look at what he's doing and just imitate it and just get on it.